Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new issue of Mortal Realms magazine. Now, as per usual, if you like these videos, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, it goes a massive way to help the channel too. And without further ado, let's crack on with it. So, this week we are on issue 72 of Mortal Realms magazine. Not many issues to go, literally 2 months, essentially, of magazine. It's going to go quick, and we have one of the best models out of it. We have Lady Olynder. So Lady Olynder, aka the Mortarch of Grief, a fantastic Nighthaunt model. The biggest downside is the way that they package this magazine and the way that this model will be. So I am expecting some people to have broken models, in all honesty, and it's a shame. It's a bit annoying because the Nighthaunts are quite wispy. And they're not very well protected with the magazine, but beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, really good model. It's on 3 mini sprues. Not many pieces though to go together, but you are going to want to follow the building guide to get this correct. If you mistake any part of the building guide, you are not going to be able to correct it very easily. So make sure you're kind of paying attention. One of the things that you will find is when you're painting it, if you're dry brushing this model, it is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, because dry brushing is very, very flimsy over certain parts of the veil and the kind of the main body of pretty much the entire lot, really. So Lady Olynder and, of course, her handmaidens. But you can have really good fun with painting that model. It's a really, really good one, and definitely worth a blast. Now, that being said, let's jump into the actual issue. So, of course, we're greeted by Lady Olynder and some information about her. So, Lady Olynder is the Mortarch of Grief, the harbinger of sorrow and ruin for the mortal realms. She is shrouded in mystery, misery and doom, and her enemies are overpowered with hopelessness before they can even try to resist. Those that can stand before such a creature are crushed by her Nighthaunt legions. So, with Lady Olynder, long ago she was a power-hungry mortal from the city of Dolorum, but not even death has stopped her ambitions. Now, at the Great Necromancer's command, she brings terror and misery to the living. Lady Olynder is one of the most terrifying forces in the mortal realms. She topples empires through her sorcery, her aura of grief, and her vast armies of Nighthaunt spirits. Her power does not come from physical strength, but from her use of fear and despair as weapons. So, with Lady Olynder, the Mortarch of Grief, she is the leader of the Nighthaunt, essentially. So, she answers only to Nagash, and she has a lot of powers as well. So, Lady Olynder, in the city of Dolorum, she married into nobility, and she was very power hungry, so she kind of used it as a power grab. So every time she kind of married, she would also bump off her rivals to that might be able to contest her or anything like that, or kind of stop her. She manages to off them, but she manages to do it in very clever ways. So she would employ or convince other people to do it for her without it kind of being led back to her. So they would think it was her idea, well, their idea, although she planted and sowed the seeds of them kind of thoughts and that kind of thought process into them, and they would do her bidding without her really asking them to do it. So really cool idea, and a fantastic kind of Shaishan kind of character. Very interesting to read about. There is a great novel about her as well, which is from her time as Mortarch of Grief. A lot of really good stuff out of it as well. So, with Lady Olynder, of course, she is the Overlord of Death. She is the undisputed ruler of the Nighthaunt by Nagash's decree. Every spirit, from the lowest chain rasp to the most regal Knight of Shrouds, is compelled to obey her without question. In battle, Lady Olynder often puts her talents as a plotter and a schemer to use. Shock and terror are her most potent weapons. and the Nighthaunt under her command strike fast and aim to break the will of the enemy in sudden savage assaults. Olynder has been known to sow division and mayhem among her enemies before battle. In the war for the Battle of the Lephis Stormvault, she bribed the Fireslayers to turn upon their Stormcast allies. She also went up against one of the Celestant Primes as well during that battle, who fought against her, and as she was trying to free the soul of Catacross, who is of course the leader of the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and almost being destroyed herself, she did manage to curse the Celestant Prime to age rapidly and then die, so thus kind of sending his soul back to Azir. So a very, very clever plotter, schemer and tactician, our good old lady Olynder. Then we have a page about the Fulminators. So the Fulminators are at spearhead of the Dracothian Guard, riding upon the enemy in a crushing wave. They deflect projectiles with expert swings of their Stormstrike glaives before running the foe down with devastating charges. So the Fulminators are one of the models that we have not had with Mortal Realms magazine, which is kind of a disappointment really, because they are a really, really cool unit, riding these Dracoffs, which are really, really awesome, and they look pretty cool and they look pretty unique. So really, really good units to hit. If you can, pick some up, because they are fantastic. They are really, really fun, and it's another mounted Stormcast. The mounted Stormcast always look really, really good fun and look pretty cool, so definitely worth picking this one up if you can. Moving on, we have more information about the Great Parch and the good old Realm of Fire itself, of course. So this is part 3, and still in the Age of Chaos. Of course, there was a Clash of Gods itself, and of course loads of other bits and pieces kicking off with it during the kind of a reign of terror from the Ruinous Powers, and yeah, it was hard to stop them in pretty much every realm. Your how to build guide, as I said earlier, make sure you pay attention to it. There are parts with this, including those vines, where if you do not put them in, it is pretty much impossible to kind of fix your mistake without having to cut them and then try to piece it all together. So entirely up to you if you want to paint it in slight subsections first. Paint like the inside of the cloak of Lady Olynder first, over the top of everything else, or if you want to try and assemble it and then paint it all up, entirely up to you. Have fun with it, just keep an eye on what you're doing. Make sure you got your glue and make sure you are ready to kind of, yeah, get frustrated with it, because it can be a bit frustrating, this one can. With that as well, you've also got your handmaidens, so don't forget to put your handmaidens on. You can technically leave the handmaidens off the model. The model still looks pretty decent without the handmaidens attached, but it can look slightly better with the handmaidens. Up to you though, entirely up to you if you want to do it. Yeah, but you can have a lot of fun with it. Attaching handmaidens can be a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie, they are a bit fiddly, because their contact area on Lady Olynder is actually only a very, very small area, so make sure you've got super glue and not plastic glue, because the super glue is faster drying. So as long as it's got that kind of contact, it should start drying and it will have a better hold. Painting it is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass as well, so if you are assembling the entire lot in one go, painting it can be a bit of a ball ache, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to kind of dilute what I'm saying. Painting the model can be an absolute pain in the ass, but you can get some fantastic looks out of it, so have a lot of fun with it. Just, yeah, getting it done is going to be an absolute ball ache. Painting it up their way is actually quite a good idea, because it's using very, very minimal paint and kind of just doing everything that you need to do and nothing extra over the top of it. However, if you want to, you can use contrast paint, so you can literally base coat it all in Corax white and use your kind of contrasts over the top of it and make it look completely different. Entirely up to you how you want to do it. There are many, many ways of painting Lady Olynder that do not look the bog standard or very, very kind of pale or anything like that. you can get some really cool looks. I've seen people do it in do red versions, purple versions, even in black and grey, which is really nice looking actually. You can do a lot with it, so have a lot of fun with it. If you paint her up as well, you can join my Discord server and you can share the photos in there, and yeah, it's always nice to see more people sharing them. So the server's pretty low on members, so there's not loads of people in there, so it's not going to be going off all the time for you, but you can join that Discord server. The link is in the description down below and it will be the pinned comment. You can join it by all means. It does support the channel to an extent, but it is absolutely free to do. You do not have to participate if you do not want to participate. You can join it just so you can check out and get ideas for your paint schemes, anything like that, tips, tricks, everything. If you want to, you can share some as well if you want as well. By all means, join up. It's not too bad and it's free, of course. You've got your Warscroll as well here for Lady Olynder. So she has her melee weapons of the Staff of Midnight, and she also has the Banshee Handmaiden's spectral claws at her kind of beck and call, essentially. And she has some pretty magical abilities as well, being able to kind of use Grief Stricken and everything like that as well as part of her abilities. So she is a wizard. So she is one of those. She has that keyword as part of her arsenal as well. And then you've got all your details of how to use different abilities, so whether it's Lifting the Veil, Wail of the Damned, and of course No Rest for the Wicked. So using summonable steeds and chain rasps and everything like that if you wanted to. Really good stuff. Then you've got your battle plan. So the battle plan itself is Midnight Falls. Midnight Falls is basically showing off that Lady Olynder has actually risen from the underworlds, and you can utilise her. So you can have a really good one. So make sure you take notice of your forces lists, so your heroes and your troops. And what you're going to be choosing is 4 choices from the Nighthaunt or Stormcast heroes list, and then 6 choices from the troops. Anything with a star takes up 2 slots. So for instance, if you are using Kurdos Valentian for Craven King and Lady Olynder, that is it for your heroes. Otherwise, so you could choose Lady Olynder, the Guardian of Souls, and say the Briar Queen, which would be quite a unique combination, really. And you can also then have 6 of everything else. So you could have 10 Chain Rasps, 5 Bladegeist Revenants. You could have your free Spirit Hosts. You can have a Glaive Wraith Stalker. You can have some of those. You can have a bit of everything. Chain Gas, everything. Whatever you want, you could do a bit of everything with it. You can really stock up on your units and everything like that. And yeah, have a nice big battle, which is always very cool. And then finally, we're going to move on to next week. Next week we get Neve Blacktalon, a fantastic Stormcast hero, a really cool one to have as well. Quite looking forward to it. I've never had this model before, so it's going to be a good one to have and to paint up. And doing her a bit different, of course, because myself I'm doing up the lines of Sigmar, so it should be a pretty cool one. So I've got a few ideas of how I'm going to add her to the lines of Sigmar paint scheme. Then you have issue 74, where you have Vanguard Raptors with Etherwings. So the Etherwings being the bird-like creatures. If you can, get 2 issues, because they do have alternate builds as well. Have fun with it. Really good stuff coming up. Of course, though, issue 74 means there will only be 6 issues left, so we are closing down on the end of this magazine run, which is a shame. But of course, Imperium magazine will follow up from it, so there'll be some really good stuff with that, with how it going into the world of the universe of Warhammer 40k, which I'm looking forward to. I hope you are too. But for that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.